Hi, good evening. So this is your weekly parent update for Friday, September 23rd. I do apologize for not having a weekly parent update. The one that had no audio, and then also last week I recorded one, and then for some reason it didn't push out. So I do apologize for not having those. They are available on my YouTube channel, but I do apologize that those weren't officially pushed out in email. So just to kind of recap the last couple of weeks, so with AP Calculus, and this goes for IM2 as well, I talked to the students about homework quizzes. So the weekly homework quizzes are designed for me. They're designed for me to know where your child is at for the week's worth of lessons. It's not designed to bring grades down, so I don't, unless everybody's doing great on them. I'm not gonna sit there and put it, as a full 100% weighting in Power School. I'm, looking for what areas of weakness the kids have overall, where the common mistakes are happening, and for your child to know at the end of the week, this is where I'm struggling. This is where I don't know what I'm doing, and this is where I need to ask Mrs. Hayden for additional help. And so I will say this, what I've noticed in both IM2 and also in AP Calculus is I do give students quite a bit of time to work on the assignment after the lesson is done. So we've done the lesson. They have independent work time, and what I've noticed is that not everybody's taking advantage of it. So if your child is coming home and they're saying that they're struggling with the homework, or they don't understand what's going on in the class, or whatever it may be, the first question should be is, well, are you starting your homework in class? Or are you working on your APUSH homework, or your AP Gov homework, or AP Lit, or AP Lang? Are you starting that during class, or are you working on calculus? And then if you are working on calculus, then are you asking questions of Mrs. Hayden? Are you what does that dynamic look like? Because I'll go around and I'll see if anybody has questions, and then nobody has questions. So it's one of those things that please encourage your child to ask questions if they are struggling. I do have remind messaging, and I told the kids, like, if I didn't want your messages when I was at home, I would turn two-way text messaging off. But I do have two-way text messaging on for that particular reason, is so that in that way, if they're struggling at home with something, that they can send me a remind message, send me a picture of what they're working on, and ask for help. And sometimes it'll be one of those things where I'm going to want to address it at the beginning of the class period, because I think maybe other students are having the same issue, or I might be able to just write out the first step for them and get them started. And so I do, there's a lot that we can actually do through text messaging, through remind. And so I would want to encourage your child to ask questions through remind if they have them. It's what it's set up for, and I do my best to try to answer the questions that night. And if not, then I can address them first thing in the morning with your child or with the entire class, and just say, hey, somebody had a question, and I want to answer that question. So it is a pretty powerful tool for me. And if your child is struggling at home, I do want them to send me those messages so that I can have an idea of what's going on, because that's really important. We're starting to get into the calculus unit. That's brand new material. We're starting to get into the IM2 stuff that most students have not seen yet, unless you are in our IM1 class at UHS. But most freshmen, you're struggling a little bit, or you might struggle a little bit with this upcoming unit because you might not have seen it yet. So that's where your child really should take advantage of remind messaging me when they do have concerns or struggles with what they're working on. And then I can always set up time if they need it. If we're exhausting all the time in class and they still need additional help, then I can always set up time outside of class to help them. And that's typically what I do. I want them to exhaust their time in class by asking me questions during the entire independent working time. And then if they still are struggling after that, then I will set up a time outside of class to do that. Because with 130 students, I do want to make sure that I reserve that time for the students that have really sat there and done everything they possibly could during the class period, and then they still need that additional help. It's not fair for a student who works on a push during the independent work time and then wants to come in after school to get additional help. That's not what it's designed for. I design independent work time in class, so then that way we can get the majority of the questions answered during class. Okay, and typically if I see a particular problem that might be, a little bit more challenging for the students, I tell them to start there first. So in that way they're starting the hardest problem while they're with me instead of starting the hardest problem when they're at home. Okay. So that's just was struggling with the class, remind messaging, and I know that I told the kids, it might be a cultural thing, like, your parents are saying, don't bother the teacher at home, that's their home time. But seriously, they're at a point where I would much rather answer their question and make them feel more comfortable about the class. When I have the time at home than to sit there and have them wait or have them get more anxiety because the lessons just build on top of each other. Looking at that, I will also talk a little bit about grades. So grades are getting updated today. I told the students that while they still have until the day of the test to get their assignments turned in for full credit still, that everything will get updated this weekend. The 6-week progress report deadline is this weekend, and so Mr. Morgan will be sending out those progress reports this upcoming week. I haven't seen a whole bunch of really bad missing homework assignments throughout this process, and most students have been receiving full credit on the homework. So I haven't been too concerned about missing homework, but with the grading period ending, if I do have a concern with your child earning a D or an F in this class because of homework, and it will be just because of missing homework, or if they're at that borderline C because they're missing homework, you will get an email from me this week letting you know that we do have a little bit of a concern. But for the most part, the kids have been really good. They've been trying to get their homework done in class. They've been trying to manage everything, and I told the kids as they start to do this stuff and that they get a little bit behind, that they do really need to have a conversation with me, because I can help them manage their time a little bit better. I can help them find balance in their life, because the most important thing is that they don't start to super stress out about things or feel helpless. I do talk a lot about mental health in my class, and the most important thing that they can do, or the most important thing I can teach them, is how to cope with the struggles of managing all their classes and and juggling everything that they're involved in. So in a lot of ways I tell the kids, the most important thing I can show you is lifelong skills. So if your child is struggling, please have them reach out to me, or you can reach out to me at any point and just send me a quick email that say, hey, I just want you to know this is what's going on at home. So in that way I can maybe, find a good way of not, revealing that it was you, but saying something to your child and just checking in on them, because I've done that already with a few students, and it has really helped, when you guys have reached out to me and said, hey, you know what, this is what I'm seeing at home. Can you, talk to my kid? Yeah, I have no problems doing that, because again, it takes a village, and I understand that, with school, and I tell this to my child, both my daughters' teachers all the time, you spend, their teachers spend more time with them than I do, so it does take a village. And so it takes all of us working together to, to help them grow up to be the person that we want them to be. So if you see something at home, please feel free to send me an email, and I'd be happy to help you guys and your child navigate through everything. So grades will get updated. If there's any weird things about missing homework or anything like that, I will talk to your child about that on Monday, and kind of get that straightened out, and then I will let you know as well if that's causing a drop in a letter grade, that their progress report may not be accurate, because I told them that they need to get the assignment done and turned in. Missing homework is one thing that I don't want that to be the reason why that they don't have the right letter grade. So I will always communicate with you if I see an issue with missing homework. Okay. But that kind of rounds out both calculus and IM2. They're kind of both at the same point right now as far as what you might see at home with your child. Classes are getting a little bit harder. Things are starting to ramp up a little bit. As far as activities are concerned, we had our ASB meeting this week. Freshmen are going to start doing freshman class elections. That'll be the week after Spirit Week. Spirit Week is the first week of October, so that's October 3rd through the 7th. We are on a special schedule on October 3rd and October 4th. We have our character assembly on October 3rd, and that will be with that'll be a special guest speaker that day. And then Tuesday is our community service day. Wednesday and Thursday are normal schedule the week of the 3rd of October, and then Friday is Phoenix Bowl. That following Saturday, October 8th, is a speech and debate tournament, and it is also our makeup portrait day. Our makeup portrait day for seniors, it'll be just for seniors only. The underclassmen are on the 19th of October, but our seniors will have their makeup portrait day on October 8th from 10 to 1 p.m., and that will be in the large band room and in the circles due to the speech and debate tournament that will also be happening that day. And then underclassmen makeup portraits are on the 19th of October. And then Magic of the Arts is on October 21st, which is a Friday night. It is at 7 o'clock. We will start to sell tickets probably at the beginning of October. So watch for that email from Mrs. Hickman to come out, or our new development director will be sending out that information. And then I think that's it. Next week we'll do a little lunchtime activity with ASB. We're trying to do more ASB lunchtime activities, get the kids more involved, promote school culture, and just kind of still, continue to bring us back together after, those couple of years of COVID, where we were, kind of very separated and very alone. So we're trying to bring back that school culture. But if you have any concerns, any questions about anything, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm glad that I think my video still has audio to it. I've been watching the little microphone go across the screen. So hopefully that will be okay. But yes, if you have any questions, any concerns about anything, please feel free to reach out. And if your child is struggling at all in the class, please encourage them to have a conversation with me, send me remind messages, and then we'll do what we can to make sure that we're all being successful. So I hope you have a great week and a great weekend, and I will see you guys next week.